double gang box is an electrical box designed to house two or more electrical devices, such as switches or outlets. In this case, we're discussing a double gang box containing two switches. One is a single pole switch, and the other is a triple rocker switch. A single pole switch is a basic on or off switch used to control a single light or outlet from one location. A triple rocker switch is a three-way switch featuring three separate rockers on the same yoke, enabling control of a light or outlet from multiple locations. The single pole switch is typically wired to control a light or outlet in a single room. The triple rocker switch, on the other hand, is used in conjunction with other three-way switches to control a light or outlet from multiple locations. Let's examine the wiring of each switch type. The single pole switch has two terminals. One terminal is for the power supply, usually a black or red wire, and the other terminal is for the load, typically a white wire. The triple rocker switch is a bit more complex. Each of the three rockers on the switch has three terminals: a common terminal, traveler 1 terminal, and traveler 2 terminal. The common terminal is connected to the power supply. Traveler 1 terminal is connected to the traveler terminal of another three-way switch. Traveler 2 terminal is connected to the other traveler terminal of the other three-way switch. Functionally, when the single pole switch is flipped, it either opens or closes the circuit, thereby turning the light or outlet on or off. When one of the three rockers on the triple rocker switch is pressed, it connects or disconnects the common terminal from the traveler terminals. This action changes the path of electricity and enables the light or outlet to be controlled from different locations. Important note: the specific wiring configuration may vary depending on the specific switches and the intended functionality. For example, if you had three lights that you would like to control, you could have all three on this switch. If you had three separate circuits that you would like to use to control other devices, you would be able to do that as well. However, it is always recommended to consult with a licensed electrician for proper installation. This ensures that the wiring is done safely and in accordance with local electrical codes. When working with electrical wiring, safety is paramount. Always turn off the power at the circuit breaker before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools to prevent electric shock. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job. Electricity can be dangerous, and improper wiring can lead to fires or electric shock. In addition to safety, it is also important to follow local electrical codes. These codes are designed to ensure that electrical installations are safe and reliable. They specify the types of materials that can be used, the size of wires that are required, and the methods of installation that are permitted. Ignoring electrical codes can result in fines or even legal action. When installing a double gang box, it is important to choose the right size box for the number of wires and devices that will be installed in it. The box should be large enough to accommodate all of the wires and devices without crowding. Crowded boxes can overheat and cause fires. It is also important to choose a box that is rated for the type of installation. For example, if the box will be installed in a damp location, it should be rated for damp locations. If the box will be installed outdoors, it should be rated for wet locations. When wiring a double gang box, it is important to use the correct size wires for the circuit. The size of the wires will depend on the amount of current that the circuit will carry. Using wires that are too small can cause them to overheat and start a fire. It is also important to use the correct type of wire for the application. For example, if the wire will be exposed to moisture, it should be rated for wet locations. When connecting wires to switches and outlets, it is important to make sure that the connections are tight. Loose connections can cause arcing, which can start a fire. It is also important to make sure that the wires are properly insulated. Damaged insulation can expose the wires and create a shock hazard. After the wiring is complete, it is important to test the circuit to make sure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to check the voltage and current. If there are any problems, troubleshoot the circuit and correct any errors. Remember, working with electricity can be dangerous. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job. By following these safety precautions and guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical installations are safe and reliable. Now, let's delve deeper into the specifics of three-way switch wiring as it pertains to the triple rocker switch in your double gang box. Understanding how three-way switches work is crucial for properly wiring the triple rocker switch and achieving the desired control over your lights or outlets from multiple locations. A three-way switch, unlike a standard single-pole switch, doesn't simply break or complete a circuit. Instead, it redirects the flow of electricity between two traveler wires. These traveler wires connect to another three-way switch located at a different location. The beauty of this setup is that either switch can change the state of the circuit, turning the light on or off regardless of the position of the other switch. The triple rocker switch, with its three individual three-way switches on a single yoke, allows you to control three separate circuits from one location. Each rocker functions independently with its own set of common Traveler 1 and Traveler 2 terminals. To wire the triple rocker switch, you'll need to identify the common terminal for each switch. This is usually marked with a different color screw, often black or dark colored, compared to the traveler terminals, which are typically brass or silver. The power supply wire, usually black, will connect to the common terminal of each switch. Next, you will need to run two traveler wires from each switch in the triple rocker switch to the corresponding three-way switch at the other location. These traveler wires connect to the traveler terminals of both switches. It's important to maintain consistency in your wiring. For example, if you connect Traveler 1 on the triple rocker switch to Traveler 1 on the other three-way switch, make sure you do the same for Traveler 2. Incorrectly wired traveler wires will prevent the three-way switches from functioning properly. When connecting the wires to the terminals, ensure that the connections are secure and that no bare wire is exposed. Use a wire stripper to remove the insulation from the wires and create a clean connection. Use pliers or a screwdriver to tighten the screws on the terminals, but be careful not to over-tighten them, as this could damage the switch. After wiring the switches, test the circuit to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to check the voltage and continuity of the wires. If the light or outlet doesn't turn on or off as expected, double-check your wiring and make sure that all connections are secure. In some cases, the common terminal may not be clearly marked on the switch. In this situation, you can use a multimeter to identify the common terminal. Set the multimeter to continuity mode and touch the probes to the terminals. The common terminal will be the one that has continuity with both traveler terminals when the switch is in one position and continuity with only one traveler terminal when the switch is in the other position. When working with three-way switches, it is important to understand the concept of a switch loop. A switch loop is a circuit that runs from the power source to the light or outlet and back to the switch. In a three-way switch circuit, there are two switch loops, one for each switch. The power source is connected to the common terminal of one switch, and the light or outlet is connected to the common terminal of the other switch. The traveler wires connect the two switch loops together. It is also important to understand the concept of a neutral wire. A neutral wire is a wire that carries the return current from the light or outlet back to the power source. In a three-way switch circuit, the neutral wire is typically connected to the light or outlet, but it may also be connected to one of the switches. When wiring a three-way switch circuit, it is important to make sure that the neutral wire is properly connected. An incorrectly wired neutral wire can cause the circuit to malfunction or even create a safety hazard. As mentioned earlier, always consult with a licensed electrician for proper installation and to ensure that the wiring is in accordance with local electrical codes. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is always best to err on the side of caution. Let's consider some additional scenarios you might encounter when working with a double gang box containing a single pole switch and a triple rocker switch. Firstly, you may find that the existing wiring in your home is not compatible with the switches you are installing. For example, you may have aluminum wiring instead of copper wiring. Aluminum wiring requires special connectors and precautions to prevent corrosion and fire hazards. If you are not familiar with working with aluminum wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job. Secondly, you may encounter situations where you need to extend or reroute existing wiring. This can be necessary if the existing wiring is too short to reach the new switches or if you want to move the location of the switches. When extending or rerouting wiring, it is important to use the correct size and type of wire for the circuit. It is also important to make sure that all connections are secure and that the wiring is properly insulated. Thirdly, you may want to add additional outlets or lights to the circuit. This can be done by tapping into the existing wiring. However, it is important to make sure that the circuit can handle the additional load. Overloading a circuit can cause the circuit breaker to trip or even start a fire. Fourthly, you may want to install a dimmer switch instead of a standard single-pole switch. A dimmer switch allows you to adjust the brightness of the light. Dimmer switches are available in a variety of styles and types, including incandescent, fluorescent, and LED-compatible dimmers. When installing a dimmer switch, it is important to make sure that it is compatible with the type of light you are using. Fifthly, you may want to install a smart switch instead of a standard single-pole switch or three-way switch. A smart switch allows you to control the light or outlet from your smartphone or other device. Smart switches can be integrated with home automation systems to create customized lighting scenes. When installing a smart switch, it is important to make sure that it is compatible with your home's electrical system and that you have a strong Wi-Fi signal. Finally, remember that the specific wiring configuration for a double GAN box with a single pole switch and a triple rocker switch may vary depending on the specific switches and the intended functionality. Always consult with a licensed electrician for proper installation and to ensure that the wiring is in accordance with local electrical codes. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice.